College football is here. We had a fun week 0 with Georgia Tech pulling a huge upset in Ireland against Florida State, and then SMU barely hanging on or coming back to beat Nevada. So I want to talk mostly about those two. I want to share my post-week 0, pre-week 1 for most of these teams, ACC power rankings. I'm going to go through most of them fast, and we'll stop and really discuss Florida State, SMU, and the top couple. So let me put this up on the screen. All right, my bottom 3, I'll start from the bottom. 17, Duke, Stanford, and Virginia. Duke was good under Elko, but he's gone to Texas A&M. Riley Leonard is gone to Notre Dame. They actually lose a lot of their key players. Jordan Waters, their running back, is off to NC State. It's going to be a tough rebuild for Manny Diaz. May not be great in year 1. Stanford is coming over from the Pac-12. Good conference last year. I think they're going to struggle in the ACC just like they struggled in the Pac-12, though. Really poor stopping the pass and not great at running the ball and playing keep away and burning clock either. Not a great combination. Virginia did just name quarterback Anthony Calandria as their starter. I like the upside decision there, so maybe they have some runway to improve. So that's why I don't have them any lower, but they've got a lot of room to grow. They have not been great. And I don't know that they're really going to turn the corner this season. Would like to see, for Tony Elliott's sake, would like to see them do well, but I don't know how close they are. Do like the Anthony Calandria decision because of the upside, though. Looking at the next 3, Pittsburgh, under Pat Narduzzi, they're typically pretty good. So it's surprising to see just how bad they were, only winning 3 games last year. Should have better quarterback play this year, but Nate Yarnell's the quarterback. I don't know how much better or how good it's really going to be. Can't be worse, though. So, there's something there. I'm not super high on them, but, Clemson goes to Pittsburgh in November. They're 2-2 against Pitt since they joined the conference, so don't feel like super confident. That's going to be just a free win, but I don't think it'll be the toughest game in the world either. Wake Forest, they get a new quarterback. Hank Bachmeier, most people may remember him from Boise State. He was at Louisiana Tech last year, but he's using COVID waivers. They've got a veteran quarterback, and they get Donovan Green back from injury. That should help. They've actually got a lot of veterans using COVID waivers, so that should help them. Once those COVID waivers run out, I just don't really know what to expect from Wake Forest. Kind of long-term in the sort of new NIL-driven world, they may struggle. Syracuse, on the other hand, used NIL and used the portal and added a lot of talent, most notably brought in some size on the offensive and defensive lines, or I guess particularly the defensive line. But quarterback Kyle McCord from Ohio State comes in. That's a big add. They were able to keep tight end Aronde Gadsden, who supposedly would have left if they hadn't brought in a good quarterback. So I think those are all big. I think they could be plucky. I think they could be tricky. Clemson does not play them this year. There's no complaint from me there. Sorry, that took a second. Okay, next up is North Carolina. They've not really threatened for the top of the conference when they had Sam Howell or Drake May. They are supposedly going to start their season against Minnesota, splitting snaps between Max Johnson and Connor Harrell. Not going to instill a ton of confidence. SMU, let's stop here for a second. They nearly lost to Nevada. It was in Reno, a little bit of weather, but that didn't seem to be the main reason. They didn't look great. Tried to run the ball in a lot of passing situations, weren't super explosive. Towards the end of the game, they finally started hitting on the explosives through the air. Rhett Lashley's their play caller. He's their head coach. He was at Miami with Manny Diaz. I think a lot of people are really high on them coming in and winning 8 games right off the bat. I don't know. It might take a while. And then above them, I have Boston College, who beat them in the bowl game. They have a 5'9" speedster at quarterback, and Thomas Castellanos, definitely, kind of raw and unproven, but he ran for 957 yards last year. It's really dynamic and can at least give Boston College a chance in pretty much every game. Then I have Cal. They're at least going to run the ball with Jaden Ott. I don't think they're great, but they shouldn't be a pushover coming into the new conference. Things get interesting now as we get into the top 7. So next up, I have Florida State. Florida State at 7. So, I guess at 0-1, you could, in theory, put them last. But I think logically, they belong here at 7. They lost their 2 best offensive players last year. They lost after last year. quarterback Jordan Travis and wide receiver Keon Coleman. Both were transfers, but let's be fair. Jordan Travis was a transfer from Louisville who had been with the program for a while. They actually did a great job developing him. He was a leader on the team. He used both his arm and his legs to really move that offense. And then Keon Coleman was his best offensive weapon. He was a one-and-done portal assassin, but he was a darn good one that Clemson could have used. He made a huge impact on Florida State last year. Not only that, they lost Johnny Wilson, their other big play wide receiver. They lost their running back, Trey Benson. That's a ton to replace. And they didn't really have enough in their traditional high school recruiting pipeline to replace that. So they went to the portal, but they came up a little bit short, or clearly short. Quarterback from Oregon State, obviously formerly Clemson, DJ Uyunglele is their new starting quarterback. And they brought in Alabama wide receiver Malik Benson amongst a handful of other guys. But it's just not comparable. When you go from Travis throwing to Coleman and Wilson to DJ Uyunglele throwing to Malik Benson, Kentron Pointier, Ja'Kai Douglas. I mean, these guys are just such a step down from the superstar wide receivers they had and the NFL quarterback they had. So I think it was a pretty obvious drop down. I thought line would be better, and I like Lawrence Toafili, so I figured with him and a good offensive line, they could at least run the ball. But I was pretty down on them. I had them outside of the top 3 or 4 in the conference, but I didn't expect this. I thought their line play would be better, and what shocked me was they got beat on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage against Georgia Tech. And I don't know how fluky that was. So I've got them at 7, and I'm not certain they're going to move up from here. They may, but they're probably going to lose to Miami. They're probably going to lose to Notre Dame. They're probably going to lose to Clemson. They already have a loss. That's looking 8-4. I could see them going 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, somewhere in that range. So I think 7 is where they belong, at least for now, and probably where they end up. Above them, I have NC State. Could definitely argue NC State could be higher. I have Louisville and then NC State. Louisville, I love Jeff Brom. I think he's a great offensive mind. He used the portal to quickly supplement the talent that they lost. So I think they'll be solid. NC State I like more. Clemson fans hate Dave Doran. I get it. I totally get it. 5 years ago, some of the antics with a laptop and talking about Wayne Gallman getting knocked out game, not cool. It's been 5 years, and since then, my perspective on him has honestly changed. As much as I have enjoyed hating on them, they've really proven to be a consistent program. He's kind of knocked off that kind of nonsense stuff. He's done a good job recruiting and using the portal in the kind of appropriate balance. They bring in Jordan Waters, who I mentioned before, leaving Duke. Running back, they brought in Grayson McCall at quarterback from Coastal Carolina. I'm not totally sold on him, which is why I don't have them higher, but you got to like the upside there. Their defense is always good under Dave Doran. If the transfers can help them on offense, they could be really, really good. Casey Concepcion is an excellent wide receiver, one of the best in the conference. So they've got some pieces. I think 5 is a conservative place to put them. The Wolfpack are 34-12 the past 4 seasons under Dave Doran. He's a good coach, and they're a very high floor program at this point. So I think they definitely belong at 5, and I would definitely hear arguments that they could be higher. Georgia Tech, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but I think they deserve the love here. So I'm going to put them at 4, at least for this week. We'll see how they and NC State do these next couple weeks. But Brent Key's just done an awesome job fixing the Yellow Jackets at the line of scrimmage. They were really impressive on the offensive and defensive lines. They ran the ball. And then on top of that, Haynes King's good. If he can be careful with the ball like he was against the Florida State Seminoles, they could be really good. If he's matured, Georgia Tech could be plucky. Now, their schedule is so tough. I don't know that they can really compete for a trip to Charlotte. They still play Louisville, Virginia Tech, and Miami. They dodged Clemson, though, and they've already beat Florida State. They go non-conference Notre Dame and Georgia. So it's a tough road ahead for them. But the bowl game definitely looks probable, and we'll see if they can build on this huge win they had to start the year. I'm really, really high on Virginia Tech this year. They bring back their entire offensive line, plus they added a portal addition to that line from Georgia State. They bring back Kyron Drones at quarterback, who didn't start the year as the starting quarterback, but he starts this year as the starting quarterback. Great athlete, was really impressive in their bowl win. He could pass it, but he can also run it, so maybe a little bit more well-rounded version of Thomas Castellanos and a bigger guy as well. So really like him at quarterback. I think they've got something cooking, and they've got a really easy schedule and a wide open path to play in Charlotte. If they could somehow go to Miami and beat Miami, I don't know how they don't make the conference championship game at that point. So as you get to the final two, I've got Clemson too. Could easily see them one. Debated it, went back and forth. But right now, let's see how they look against Georgia. Maybe after that, depending on how them and Miami will be playing Florida, how each of them look, they easily could swap here. I have this it's a toss-up between the two, and I'll go ahead and put Miami up there as well. But I have Clemson too, because let's see how they look. We've heard a lot about the improvements. We hear Cade Klubnik is more consistent. We hear the wide receivers are finally healthy. We hear the offensive line has taken strides. All things that are not completely unfamiliar. We've heard offensive line taking strides so many times. Forgive me if I'm a little hesitant to completely buy in. I think it's probably true. I tend to buy into Cade Klubnik's improvement. If the wide receivers aren't hurt, I do think they could be pretty good. But let's see them all on the field. Let's see them actually get on the field, not hurt for 1 week before we get too excited. So that's what I have them too. Cam Ward's a little bit more proven than Cade Klubnik. They've got a lot of talent there. And now with Florida State losing, their schedule is wide open. If they could beat Florida State, they're going to be favored in every game. So Miami's got a real path to the playoff. I actually have both Miami and Clemson in the playoff. Personally, I have Clemson as one of the top 4 seeds winning the conference. But I think, either way, Clemson or Miami making the playoff or getting the bye, but I think both making the playoff is probable. Let me know what you think, but also let me know, would you rather Clemson get a bye, not win a playoff game, lose the round of 8, if it were to kind of break out that way? Or would you rather them not get a bye, host a home game, and win it, and then lose in the round of 8? Both could be interesting. Clemson obviously is one playing conference title, so not a new thing if they were to go win in Charlotte. Would be new for Miami. I'm sure that's what they'd like. But either way, let me know what you think of these rankings. Let me put them up one more time for everyone to see and take in. So there they are: Miami, Clemson, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, NC State, Louisville, and Florida State, the top 7. And you can see the rest of them, how they break down there. As always, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are over 900, hoping to get to 1,000 sometime this season. So really appreciate everyone who are liking these videos, commenting on them. Really appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe. As always, go Tigers. If you enjoyed this video, please help this channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Also, if you're a pet owner and you live in the upstate, check out our sponsor, Ready Vets. They offer immediate walk-in care when your pet can't wait. They're open 7 days a week till 10 p.m. They're owned by 2 Clemson grads. They're located in Taylor's, just 10 miles from the Woodruff Road shopping district.